unfortunately, who came out as heroes. They do the same, but the majority of the people have to stand against this kind of violence. They have to stand against these issues of tribalism. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You never hear people living in the same plot, moving together right now here. You never, because we are above that. It is the leaders who we elected who come to remind us, by the movie, you are not from the same community like this guy.
Yeah.
Because of their own selfish interest. When Mount Kenya was voting for William Ruto, he was not Kamau. Now he discovered, because the mountain is shifting, I have to bring the narrative of their tribalist, right? So that to try to, isolate them from the other communities in Kenya to see whether 41 against 1 can work. Look at that. It is the leaders. Please, Kenyans, let's be wise about this. Come on. Let's go beyond this issue. When we identify a leader who is tribal, who is talking violence, who is talking Gunism, simple. Let's just say, excuse me, guy, I'm gonna meet you at the ballot.
Yes.
You are not wiser than millions of voters over now going over almost to 24 million voters. Let's just simply say we don't want this kind of whatever, because you are given power. You have the GSU, the EACC, NIS, all the 20 trillion. Then 4 years later, instead of coming to realize what you have done with our money, you begin, conversation, Gunism, violence, here, first of all, don't go to a place where there are goons. Then the following day, now we have discovered something else. We are going to be arresting goons. How do you arrest goons you have sponsored? It doesn't make sense. We are living on autopilot. Let me tell you, it's only God who is keeping us alive in this country.
Yeah.
Economically, price of electricity, price of fuel, collapse of SHA and health system, collapse of education. We are just surviving by the mass of gold. Let me tell you, during Kibak, by the time Ruto took over, 12.9, the private, and I think we had that conversation last night.
Yes.
The kind of money available to the private sector, the kind of the rating was over 12.9%. Right now it is -2, meaning the people who are supposed to drive this economy are not. They are actually negative. They are actually digging into their savings.
This is now the private sector.
And you see, the biggest driver of any economy in the world is the private sector. Government is a consumer, by the way. Government takes your taxes and uses it. All right? But the biggest drivers of any economy is the private sector. Today, we are doing at -2.7%. When Ruto took over, it was 12.9. Accessibility to credit and the movement of money. Money is not circulating in this country. Why? Because just a few guys have access to money. And this money, they are so fearful of this money, they cannot trust it in the banks. They can only withdraw it, turn it into dollars, go to any bureau. They are not dollars. People are literally going there, buying dollars and taking them to Dubai. We are in a crisis. I can tell you. It's not going to any better for us who are hoping to take over the next government, because we'll be in a hole.
Yeah.
We need to really think and give people hope. For now, we are on a downward spiral. Forget about Fred is a reasonable gentleman. I hosted Fred with the That Way Alliance in Nakuru when I was a member of the county assembly.
Okay.
To come and talk about Bongeza Mzigo. Very brilliant fellow. You see, when I see the excitement by which they talk about these broad-based fellows, they should come slowly to us and ask us, how was it? What happened? We take them through a cup of coffee. But they are so excited, we just started looking at them. It will not go to December. I can tell you seated here, because I know the kind of thinking. By December, when these guys go for Christmas, they will not come back with Ruto. He will be left alone. President William Ruto will be alone. Yeah. All these guys shouting here about, because their excitement, the excitement of a bride, of a new bride, a new girlfriend and all that. Excited, trips here and there, something like that. The beauty is they know. Me, I can tell you, ODM people are not daft. They know. Okango. They just want to survive until December. They look at things, the way they are going to go, then jump. I can tell you, very few people will remain in this government by January. Look at what happened in Homa Bay. Even in Homa Bay, yes. Yeah, I mean, as early as 6, actually the other night, people attacked hotels. People lay stones on the roads. No arrest. Then you come talk about goons. Do you know what? Me, I'm not coming here to appeal. No, this year, we are going to tell each other the truth. Goons and violence will not end in this country so long as, because it is as an official, it's an official policy. Because we are not able to convince the people to like us and vote for us next year, let us use goonism and violence as a way of trying to scuttle peace and all that. We see how that can work for us next year. It is an official policy. So, and by the way, me, I don't blame Mokome. You never hear me talking about, I want the sacking of IG. Sorry for IG. I mean, he doesn't know even what is happening. Mokome is a messenger by the head of state. So I don't come here to come and tell guys, let's hope, let's pray. Mokome should resign. IG should resign. It is the backstops with the chief executive officer of this country. The backstops with the commander-in-chief. So, guys, I mean, the only thing that can manage this issue of goonism is the power of the people. They bring goons like the way they did on Kalau. People say, excuse me, guys, you can come with your guns, with black Prados, with the pre-marked ballot papers. We are not moving. They killed 2. Unfortunately, who came out as heroes. They do the same, but the majority of the people have to stand against this kind of violence. They have to stand against these issues of tribalism. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You never hear people living in the same plot, moving together right now here. You never, because we are above that. It is the leaders who we elected, who come to remind us, by the movie, you are not from the same community like this guy.
Yeah.
Because of their own selfish interest. When Mount Kenya was voting for William Ruto, he was not Kamau. Now he discovered, because the mountain is shifting, I have to bring the narrative of their tribalist, right? So that to try to, isolate them from the other communities in Kenya to see whether 41 against 1 can work. Look at that. It is the leaders. Please, Kenyans, let's be wise about this. Come on. Let's go beyond this issue. When we identify a leader who is tribal, who is talking violence, who is talking goonism, simple. Let's just say, excuse me, guys, I'm going to meet you at the ballot.
Yes.
You are not wiser than millions of voters, over now going over almost to 24 million voters. Let's just simply say, we don't want this kind of whatever, because you are given power. You have the GSU, the EACC, NIS, all the 20 trillion. Then 4 years later, instead of coming to realize what you have done with our money, you begin, conversation. The president, his work is to follow the constitution and implement it, which he has avoided in the last 4 years. Suddenly he has become born again. He's talking about constitution for the 14 times. You know that Kapreza he called off by calling off all the news media. Your journalists have been all over the place looking for news. Then at 7, even the courtesy of allowing us to hear the news for 30 minutes, he comes and overtakes it and just lectures for 36 minutes. Then tells us we're going to have a conversation. What conversation about what? You cannot be running away from the constitution for 4 years, then suddenly discover, there's a constitution to be talking about, some conversation. That conversation is dead on arrival. That story about dialogue and all that, that's kind of a thing.
Are we talking about Vision 2060?
That story he's talking about, come, let's reason together. When people know now they are going to the guillotine next year, that's when now they began to narrow down, let's talk. There's nothing like talking. There's nothing like another BI thing you want to hear in this country. And by the way, if they intend to use the taxpayers' money, we'll stop that thing completely. Well, they are smart. They took all the money in boxes. It's lying somewhere for guys to be given allowances to go around the country. So that's number. But number 2, tolerance. What kind of tolerance when goons are ruling all over? I mean, what are you talking about? We don't want people who are supposed to do what they're supposed to do coming to lecture us about being tolerant. We are for peace, right? Myself, the DCP party, of course we are for peace, because we have the people. We have the people and God. The people who are scared every day are the people who are sponsoring goons, And then you have the CS, who is more like apologetic for goons. He talks this one way, and I feel very sorry. Let me tell you, Buvi, I feel sorry for people who have been given so high positions of the authority, but they are not mature. The age and exposure competence is not there. You talk one thing, and then unfortunately they love the mic. If you don't have something to say, please keep off the mic. He's always talking about this. Mokome talks about goons. The ACK goons, we know who sponsored, never arrested. On the eve of the 25th, we know there's some politicians who want to use goons tomorrow, not arrested them, meaning they are the goons themselves.